adorable story of Little Red Riding Hood.
Once upon a time, in a dark and foreboding forest, there lived a little girl. She was known throughout the village as Little Red Riding Hood because of the bright red hooded cloak that she wore everywhere she went. Despite the warnings of the villagers, Little Red Riding Hood loved to explore the forest, wandering through its twisting paths and mysterious glades. She had never encountered anything frightening during her adventures and had always felt safe beneath the canopy of the trees. However, all that was about to change. One day, while Little Red Riding Hood was walking through the forest, she came across a strange creature lurking in the shadows. It was a large, wolf-like beast with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth. The creature leaped at Little Red Riding Hood, snarling and snapping its jaws, but she managed to dodge its attack and ran as fast as she could through the trees. She could hear the beast's heavy footsteps behind her, and its hot breath on her heels. Little Red Riding Hood knew that she had to find a way to escape the creature, or she would surely be torn to shreds. As Little Red Riding Hood ran, she came across a clearing in the forest. In the center of the clearing stood a small cottage, which she recognized as belonging to her grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood knew that her grandmother would be able to help her, so she ran towards the cottage as fast as she could. When she arrived, she found the door to the cottage slightly ajar. She pushed it open and called out for her grandmother, but there was no answer. The cottage was eerily quiet, and Little Red Riding Hood couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. As she made her way through the cottage, she heard a strange noise coming from her grandmother's bedroom. Little Red Riding Hood approached the door cautiously, her heart pounding in her chest. She pushed the door open and gasped in horror at the sight before her. Her grandmother lay in bed, her body torn and bloody, her eyes staring blankly up at the ceiling. And standing over her was the wolf-like creature that had been chasing Little Red Riding Hood through the forest. Little Red Riding Hood screamed and ran towards the door, but the creature was too quick. It grabbed her by the hood of her cloak and pulled her back into the room. Little Red Riding Hood struggled to free herself, but the creature was too strong. It pinned her to the ground and bared its teeth, ready to strike. But just as the creature was about to attack, Little Red Riding Hood remembered a trick that her mother had taught her. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small bottle of holy water. She had always carried it with her for protection, but had never needed to use it until now. Little Red Riding Hood uncorked the bottle and splashed the holy water onto the creature's face. The creature howled in pain and recoiled, giving Little Red Riding Hood the chance to scramble to her feet and run towards the door. As she ran through the forest, Little Red Riding Hood could hear the creature's angry growls behind her. She knew that she had to keep moving if she wanted to stay alive. Finally, after what felt like hours of running, she stumbled out of the forest and onto a road. In the distance, she could see the lights of her village. Little Red Riding Hood ran towards the village, tears streaming down her face, her heart pounding in her chest. When she arrived in the village, she was met with a sea of concerned faces. The villagers had been searching for her for hours and had feared the worst. Little Red Riding Hood told them everything that had happened in the forest, and the villagers listened in horror. They had always known that the forest was dangerous, but they had never imagined anything like this. In the days that followed, the village was consumed by fear. The creature that had attacked Red was still out there, lurking in the forest, waiting for its next victim.